Welcome to another episode of Project Savage with your host, Ray Gonzalez. And today, we're finally bringing it back. We had a little hiatus, 3-week hiatus. We didn't do any podcasts, and the reason for it is because I did not want to make anything that was without value. You know, it didn't have good value to it. Obviously, this whole COVID stuff has got everybody screwed up. But I'm happy to bring a good guest in that's got some good content for us. He's an artist, goes by the name of David King. What's up, David?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I appreciate you bringing me in. Again, we haven't caught in a long time, so it's a perfect time for us to come into a podcast and be able to catch up live on camera. Like, this isn't scripted.
Yeah, this is straight organic, raw, bro. I think last time we had a conversation was in the booth.
Yeah, it's got to be a couple years. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's funny, beat us back in the booth.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So, David, man, let people know kind of who you are and what you do right now, and then we'll go from there.
So who I am, you know what? I think it's kind of like it changes from time to time. Like, for example, right now you can say, you know what, I'm an artist, but then you're like, but I'm not just an artist. Like, I want to be, I want to be an influencer. I want to be a motivator. I want to, like, today I can wake up and say, you know what, I want to write a book. So now I can just be an author, right? So I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur. More than anything, what do I want to do? More than who I am, like, I think what I want to do is I want to influence people. I want to motivate people. I want to show people the dark and the light. I want to show people the good and the bad. I think just the world needs to just get some real content from people that are brave enough to say, you know what, this is wrong. This looks wrong. We need to fix this. Yeah. And then also give people art. I do music. We'll talk a little bit more about it. I just got back from Colombia, just recorded an EP. Music where you can listen to it and get anything from something that is going to get you moving. It's, more of a reggaeton vibe, and you could get something that's more of a love song, and you get a little bit of everything. And that's kind of what I think that's what life is. You got ups and downs, you have good and bad. And really what I am, I'm a human being trying to live the best human experience, and then also just bring something to the world where they can better from it as well.
You're not an alien, bro?
I'm not an alien.
Okay, good, because I seen all the UFOs landing recently, so just checking in, bro. That's good. I'm glad you're a human being. Oh, damn, bro. So that's what's up, man. So you're a man of many, what do they say? What's that saying? The man of many...
many talents, I would say.
That's what you say,
not sound arrogant, but, a man of many talents, I would say.
And that's good because I guess we're both Aquarius. Like, as an Aquarius, man, we like to be free. We like to... like you said, one day we want to do this, one day we want to do that, but at the end of the day, we execute what we want to do.
Right.
And a lot of people don't execute what they want to do, and that's awesome, man, to hear because, and I think it's going to be a fire podcast because I'm kind of excited to get
it's going to be legendary. And again, it's like, it's not where you want to say, you know what, like, this is my first podcast, and I told you this, and it's not like you want to say, like, I'm the best at what I do because we're always constantly improving. But when you have something like you need to get off your chest and you feel the world needs to hear it, you're like, this is going to be a fire podcast.
This is a place for it, bro. Yeah. Your fans, people that know you, people that follow you, support you, even your haters that are going to listen to it because they want to see where you're at now.
Right.
They're going to listen to this and they're going to be like, damn. And they're going to be mad or they're going to be excited and supportive. But at the end of the day, brother, like I said, I'm super excited for this podcast. I think it's going to be legendary. It's going to be fire. I think we're going to get into some very deep stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're into like, your fitness as well.
Right.
Obviously, you guys know I own a gym. I'm, fitness trainer, all that stuff. But I know you're big into. I know you're still vegan. Are you still vegan?
Yep.
Big into vegan. I would definitely want to dig into that a little bit because I know you do a lot of research and I know you do. You go into a lot of depth when you go into something. You don't just do it and say you do it because when you do something, you want to make sure that you can have some backing and facts to support it, and then that way you can help other people.
Exactly.
Same way I am.
Exactly.
So I want to get into that and talk about the reasons for you doing that, which I think will be legit.
Yep.
And but yeah, man, let's talk about you back in the day. Let's talk in the beginning. What made you become who you are, man?
What made me become, honestly, like it's I think about it all the time, right? Because there's things that make you the person you are, and like we said before, it's the things that you go through make you into what you are, whether they were good or bad, right? So really, I would say, and this isn't to just like make it a poor me. This is to show you that I went through a lot of, and we could cuss on here, right?
Yeah, of course.
I went through a lot of shit growing up, right? Since a childhood, and just like going through rejection from like the people closest to you. And that kind of gave you like a thicker skin where you're just like, I got to depend on myself because nobody else is going to defend me. That did that. But what it also did was give me the perspective of like, I know what it feels to be like that. So I'm going to help the people that feel like that. I'm going to give something to the world. So someone that is, you know, the 12-year-old me, now everyone has a cell phone. So a 12-year-old could get on a podcast and listen to this now. And I could tell that 12-year-old, I went through a lot of shit and it made me get to this level, and wait to see what's 5 years from now. Wait to see what's 10 years from now. So it's been life experiences, bro. Is I've learned to not hit the wall twice. And if I hit the wall twice, I've learned even that second time, like, there's a reason that I went through that. Sit back, analyze, and don't become a victim. Don't get into that victim mentality. Get into that analytic mentality to say, everything happens for a reason. Let me get the good out of that. And now I need to make some changes so that doesn't happen again. So that's what gave me the mentality to just say, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to say whatever I want, and I'm going to do whatever I want, whether they support me or not, is the fact that it's like, I've been independent, not financially, but I've been independent since a kid because there was no one really there to support me. So that's where that
it's crazy, man. Like being independent as a kid and like taking the like kind of playing the adult role as a kid changes you as a grown up, because again, you grow up faster than you should have. But then and maybe it was struggling, you know, financially struggling, you know, mentally, whatever it was struggling at that time made you who you are now, because it makes you, again, thicker skin, makes you stronger, makes you more mature, and it makes you want to succeed. You know, you don't want to live in shit no more. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn how to be, you want to learn how to live a lavish life, because it's not because you want to live that life, but it's just because you already lived through what crap is, and you don't want to live that life no more. So it's good to know. I mean, I wouldn't say, I mean, it was been similar, like what I did coming up, growing up, you know, parents splitting up, things like that. My dad was always there. My mom was there too. But at the same time, it was still a little, you know, rough coming up.
Some missing.
And you still learn and grow up sooner than you should have. But at the same time, it makes you who you are now. Very independent. That's why I think I started my business very young. Wanted to get into something that I can help people. Again, like I felt like I helped myself. Exercising, it made me feel good. And I wanted to share that with the world and with people. Like, hey, I want, you know, you're out of shape, or you're not, you know, you want to get healthy or whatever. You want to feel better. I did this. I feel good now, and I feel confident. I want to do the same thing for you. So it's the same exact thing, man. Which you kind of group, you know, different paths but similar. You know what I'm saying?
I think it gives you an advantage. Like when you go through certain things, because we always ask ourselves, like, at least I ask myself all the time, like, why did I have to go through that when nobody else has gone through it, right? And now I look at it, it was an advantage. Everything that goes wrong, you got to get some advantage out of it, right? So the way I see it is, it's basically like you went through all that crap before everyone else did. So if I go through that at 10 years old, I already have an advantage on you, because the first time that you go through something difficult when you're 30 years old, by that time, I already went through 3 difficult things, so my skin is tougher than that. And I think, honestly, bro, I think that we are the selected few. Because if everyone had tough skin, and then the competition would be so great, and then everyone would be a millionaire, and then there would be no reason to be a millionaire because everyone's won. So you become chosen, and you have to go and you have to earn your stripes. And then it gives you the confidence to say, you know, if I fail, been there, done that, I learned from it, and watch how I come back stronger.
Exactly, man. That's great, bro. So let's know a little bit, because I know you're an artist, bro, and that's I think that's kind of like the main thing that you're kind of known for is the music. What got you into the music industry, bro?
What got me into music? So
I know you said in the beginning, you like to express yourself, some slow stuff, some kind of up-tempo stuff. It's how you feel, but it's kind of how the world is. But at the same time, it's what you are. It expresses you. So what got you, when did you first realize that you enjoyed creating music?
You know what is crazy? And everything right now everything I'm telling you is like exclusive. I've never said this before. It's my first podcast, but so
David King fans, you guys better tune in, because this is gonna be legit. And don't mind us, I think we're a little sweaty.
It's like 110 degrees outside, so bear with us.
So if you're watching the video, you're gonna see us dripping.
The comment's gonna be like sweat. But so why did I get into music, man? So I didn't realize this as a kid, but I realized that I always needed a way to express myself. I think, you know, when you're an artist, whether you paint, whether you write books, whether you exercise, like those are ways that you express yourself. It's ways that you're able to vent, is your therapy. To me, that's therapy when I create music. So as a kid, how did I get introduced to music? So I didn't have a great relationship with my dad growing up. There was definitely a lot of rejection coming from his side. And I was, as a kid, he was my superhero, just like everyone's like dad is their superhero. Yeah. So to me, it was like I was always trying to impress him, and I knew that he loved music. So I, like, when they would, like, on the weekends, they would have barbecues, and, you know, they would, like, all start drinking beer and just barbecuing, like, you know, just typical, like, Hispanic barbecues on a Saturday night. And
where's that?
And then they would just start drinking, and then they would just start listening to music. Yeah. So I remember just one day I just started singing the music, and then I just started becoming like when they would just start drinking, my dad would call me over, and then like I would just start singing for like the drunkies, you know? And I was just like, you know, and it's like I enjoyed the fact that I was wanted and needed, and I was appreciated by my father, like, and it was like, it was a very sick and twisted way to be wanted, but I was like, for once I was wanted. And that kind of like showed me that I had a talent, and I enjoyed putting like a show for the public, you know? And from there, I remember playing the trombone when I was like in 5th grade. So I was in 5th grade playing high school level trombone. Again, trying to impress my dad, like wanting to show him like I was talented. And it would just give me that extra edge, doing it for somebody else, but it showed me in the long run like that music was what I wanted to do. And so I did instruments. Then it got to a point where I was like, man, I'm really just doing this for my dad. Like, I don't want to play an instrument. Like, you fast forward to, I want to say I was in 6th grade. And I can remember this, like, super vividly when I seen the music video for T.I. 24s. Like, I remember, right, I wish, we could play.
Usually we could add them, but obviously we didn't know this.
Yeah. But I remember seeing, like, I remember going to like a friend's house at the time, because we didn't have cable, you know, so I'd go over like his house after school, like for a half hour, just real quick, watching music videos. This is like time where like 106 in Park is like playing all the music videos. And I remember seeing 24s, and it moved me, bro. And I was like, 1, I want that lifestyle. 2, I was like, I don't know what it's doing to me, but just hearing like the bass and just like, there was something about that song, and I can listen to it right now, and it gives me the same feeling. Still hits, yeah. So then from there, I was like, I want to create music. I want to make like people feel like that when they hear my music. And then from there, I just started writing, bro. I just started writing, and then I would record, like, I think back then I would just like record on a cassette tape and just like press record. And even though that was like even though that was like classic technology, even at that time, that's all I had, you know? And then you start like downloading beats and stuff, and then you start recording like on your computer microphone. And man, it just fast forward to where I've gone like on and off.
What age was that when you started doing like your recording and like doing the music? Like, what age would you say?
I think I was already like probably like in 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably say like it was around like 8th grade. Definitely like got into high school. Yeah. And I was just like already like doing the music.
You know, it's funny that I did the same thing, bro. I started writing music at like 7th grade too. Like I literally would hear the beat and I'd be like, I just start writing my own song and stuff.
Right.
That's how we ended up connecting at some point. But yeah, I would joke, you're not. But yeah, go ahead, man.
But yeah, so then, you know, then got into high school, and then man, like the most memorable situation was my senior year. My senior project was to create a studio, and that's a studio where I met you, like where we recorded.
I did my senior project.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that wasn't my senior project, but it was
a project.
I had a project for chemistry, and they're like, you can make a song, and I was like, I'll make a rap song.
A rap song,
because I was into writing. You know, I was like, I'll make a rap song, and then that's how I met you, and we made the chemistry song. Right. Let's record. Let's drop right here.
God knows where that song is at. You still have that song?
No.
God knows.
I don't think I ever made that song.
Yeah. So, so I think that was the biggest thing for me, because then that's when I recorded the first CD. Like I had a first like published CD, and to me that was like, man, like that was like, I look back now and it's like we were moving fast for our time. Like obviously now, like senior, like, you know, like kids that are listening to this, they're seniors. They're like, we don't do CDs no more. We just upload it into you know, Apple Music or whatever, you know,
which is quick.
Yeah. And now, but to us, it was like to have a CD was like a big accomplishment. So it went into that, and then obviously from that comes like goods and bads of getting into the music industry. It gave me a test, and it gave me a taste of what the music industry is, and it reminded me of there was like this Ice-T, like just recent, like this little take that he was saying, where it's like the music industry is just like basically like the pimp, and you're like, they're basically pimping you, right? And as long as you can provide music for them, they love you. But as soon as you can't provide anything good for them, they just kick you to the curb and get the next one. And that kind of gave me a taste of like, nothing's free, even in the music industry or any industry. And you know that as an entrepreneur, like nothing is free. And when someone tells you I'm going to give you something, they want something in return, whether it's financial or like I want a favor from you someday, right?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from that. And again, you analyze and you go back and you think even of situations that happened years ago. And you're like, it showed me a lot in life because I've never done a deal with anybody else. And it has taught me that if I can't put my money up front, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it legally, like I have paperwork where it's like everything is written and we can go to court and it's legal, then I'm not doing it. And honestly, like everything I've done moving forward, I've put my money up front.
Yeah.
And it's been a slower process, but it's been a learning process. And I feel like there's still a lot to learn. Like
but you're more in control of your situation.
Exactly.
You don't want to be like, leave it to someone else and be like, oh, they helped you. Now it's like, oh, you feel like you owe them. And it's like, you don't like to have that on your head no matter what.
No, and it's like, and it's not just the fact where I'm like, I don't want to owe somebody money, but it's the fact that I don't want to have someone feel like I used them to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to feel like I'm being used.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of learnings from there, man. And it's like, it takes me to where, I mean, I've gone on and off of the music, and it's just, you know, it comes with life, bro. It comes with your career. It comes with life hits you with some real difficult things. It comes to a point where the reason that you were recording was to express yourself, but then it's like sometimes you go through some like real heavy depressions where you don't even want to write. Like you just don't want to do nothing. You don't want to do shit, period.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Like I said, I went through a little anxiety, kind of almost depression feeling. But I triggered it because I did some THC, the vape, you know, the vape and the THC oil. One of my buddies gave me some strong shit. But like I said, I'm not a smoker like that or anything, but I was just kind of like testing it out, like just to keep my mind calm. And accidentally, my dumbass, and I talked about this in the podcast before, but actually my dumbass fucking tried to smoke it when it was cold outside, so it wasn't hot, and the whole vase popped in my mouth. So the whole THC from that little vase,
that was a lot.
It was a lot, and I'm not used to that. And then I kept trying, you know, smoking it after.
Right.
And then it just hit me, bro. My fucking heart was like, brrr. I thought I was dying, bro. And that's funny, talking about the pre-workouts earlier before we did the podcast.
Right.
I did. I already had a thought that maybe I had something wrong with my heart because, but I was taking a lot of pre-workout, so my heart was always beating weird when I would sleep. So then all that led to like me being worried, like, am I something wrong with me? And then I went to the doctor, like, bro, you're fine. And then I was like fucked up in the head for like a couple months. Right. Dark times, crying, like random shit, like what the fuck? Like didn't want to do nothing, didn't want to eat. Right. Like I totally understand where you're going with that, bro. Because and it's like crazy because you can't even control it. Yep. Like you're like, but then like what you have to do, and I've told people is like you just have to surround yourself with positive people that genuinely care about you, that genuinely care about, they don't want nothing from it, but just care about you. Yeah. Which once you find those people, they're there for you. And then you also got to look back into your childhood. Right. Because your childhood allows you to remember the good times. Right. Because when nothing mattered. Right. And the only thing that matters it was all about you. Right. It was all about you and what you liked. And
your small world.
Yeah. So you got to look back and be like, what did I love when I was a kid? Right. And that's what got me into traveling because I enjoyed as a kid. I remember I was like, dude, I used to want to be like archaeologist. Yeah. I used to be into Egypt shit, mummies and all that shit. Yeah. And it got me into like, I want to travel. And that gave me life. And then I started booking flights and traveling and it gave me that life where it opened me up. Opened my mind up more, and it gave me that ability to feel like I'm never going to accomplish this, but I could always want more and continue getting more. Right. Where you felt like there's a dead end somewhere, now you feel like you're dying. Right. I'm going to die tomorrow. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find that, and I went through that, so I can tell someone to go, you know, this is the steps that you can take. Some might be harder than others, but it's a way out, man. Yeah. I'm glad I never had to take no, meds. I don't know if you dealt with any of that shit.
No, and man, there's a couple real good points that you touched on. And then just going into the meds, like
I was scared to take that, like to even think about that, because I was like, dude, people have shit like this. They start taking, they get addicted to this, they get, you know, even
sometimes
more
they
depressed.
get worse.
And
Yeah, they get worse.
Suicidal, and I was like, and I would never think about that, but in my head, I thought this is how people feel for so long. That eventually they start getting suicidal and shit, because they don't want to live no more. And I was like, the hell's going on? And I was like, nah, this is not me. I'm the person that motivates people. What the hell is wrong with me? And I felt like I gave so much to people in my gym and fitness industry that I was taking so much negative energy from them, and I was giving them my good, and then I realized that I gotta stop. I'm depleted. I had to stop giving give my positive energy, but don't take any of their negative. And I didn't understand that. I would sit there and listen to people for hours and talking about their problems, and I thought it was a good thing. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what? It's not being rude, but it's like, I'm here to provide a service for you. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to you for a few minutes, and then I'm like, hey, you know what? Just do that. Here's some advice. Peace out. Hopefully you take care of it. Fitness is going to help you out. And that's that. Because then I sit there and keep giving, and then I'm like,
depleted. So what I call it is, you have to be emotionally intelligent, right? Like, for example, like you said, you're listening to people's problems all of the time. Like, you're worrying about somebody else's problem because your brain can't tell the difference. Your brain is just analyzing, and you're putting yourself in their footsteps because you want to show some empathy, right? So what happens now? Your brain is thinking that I'm actually going through that breakup or through that divorce or through the loss in the family, and it's like, there's a difference between being selfish and then just having self-love for yourself and saying, you know what? I can listen to so much, and then I have to literally detach and just like, you know what? I'll help you the first time and I'll listen to you the first time, but I'm not a therapist. I don't get paid for that. And even therapists have breaks, or therapists go through stages of depression because they're listening to negativity most of the time. And but then it also the other topic you touched on was the THC. So I'm not a big smoker like of cannabis, and again, to each their own. Whoever is okay with it, but why I don't smoke it, because I'm the same way. When I smoke anything that has like a high THC, I get anxiety. I get like panic attacks, and it's not even panic attacks, but it's like it puts me in a mindset that I feel weird.
Your heart starts being weird. You start thinking of like
things that you never think about, right?
Start tripping out,
yeah. So like, this is the hardest thing about like being an influencer, right? Because there's people out there that are cannabis influencers, and there's a lot of people that are very naive, and they think, well, if this person can smoke it, even though, you know, they're 160 pounds and I'm like a bodybuilder, I'm way bigger, like if he can smoke it, I can smoke it, not knowing that it's chemistry, man. Like, not everybody can really deal with that,
tolerate that,
can tolerate it. And if you're an influencer, I think the biggest thing about being an influencer, bro, and I'm not saying like I never smoke, because like my biggest thing is like, I'll smoke if it's outdoor, and like people are just like, why would you even smoke outdoor? Like, that's garbage. But to me, it's like, if it's outdoor, like if you're not spraying it and modifying it with a bunch of stuff, like I smoke it because like straight how it comes out of the earth, that's how I'm smoking it.
Yeah, because it's more natural,
And I've realized that it doesn't affect me at all. Like if I smoke it to go to sleep, I'm going to sleep. I'm not having like weird dreams. Like it's actual like therapeutic.
And that's what my mindset was when I asked the guy to give me some stuff, because I was like, you know what, I need something to calm me down, to kind of relax me, because like sometimes, and I never even had anxiety, to be honest, but I never even ever thought I had felt that, but it was just more of the fact that I felt like my mind was always running at night, and somebody couldn't sleep. So like, you know what, maybe if because of the business, I was like, you know what, maybe if I smoke when I feel like I really like can't sleep, I'll just take a hit and relax me. But again, I didn't want to like roll some shit up, and I was like, I don't want to do all that. Hey.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do all that. I was like, nah, bro. I was like, just give me a pen, something I can just. And he's like, I got you. And I didn't realize that all that has like very modified with a bunch of
super modified. You don't even know what's in there. Half of the time, they don't even know what's in there.
So I think that's what screwed me up. Obviously, overdoing it with the accidental, smoking of it. But it's just like I said, that taught me a lot, and like, I would never even touch that. Like, I just started recently taking CBD here and there, because I know there's benefits of it. And shout out to
CBD as well.
Shout out to Brian Woods. He's my sponsor, Gold Label Organics. He's my CBD.
You're gonna have to connect us, because I'm a CBD, definitely a CBD advocate.
Yeah, I might have to hook you up. So, but anyways, so he started hooking me up with some stuff, and I've heard a lot of people say CBD is really good for all that stuff, and I just started taking it, and it helps. It relaxes you, especially the salves and all that stuff that, the oils, and you rub on your body when you're achy. It actually helps like instantly, like a couple percentage. Like if it's 100% achy, you put it on, you feel like an instant like 30-40% difference, right away. And then obviously the oil, like I was trippy for a while for taking the oil in my, like the the oral version of it.
Because your experience?
Yeah. And then I was like, I remember the first time I did it, but it wasn't his product, it was somebody else's product, and it had the smell of
cannabis.
Yeah. And it tripped me out, bro. I took it and I was like freaking out. Like
now you're in your head. You're all in your head. Yeah, for
so
sure.
then I eventually went into like just taking, I never did it. And then I took his stuff and I was like, I'm cool. And then nothing done. And I was even tripping. Right. Every time I take it, I ain't gonna lie, even every time I take it, I'm like, there was one time I kind of started to kind of felt a little weird when I took it. I hadn't taken it in a while. And I was like, what the hell is wrong?
Yeah.
So, but it's just like I said, things are on my head. There's nothing really and just taking the caffeine, dropping your caffeine down, it'll help you out.
Caffeine, like I've gone like a couple days without drinking caffeine, and really, this is my personal opinion, bro. Like, I think anything that you take and you stop taking and your body reacts to it, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Like, if you stop taking caffeine for a while, like if you're having super high doses and then you stop taking it, like you start getting headaches, you start getting like these different symptoms. And we talked about pre-workout. Like, I stopped taking pre-workout. Why? Because like, I think the biggest problem with our society, bro, is that we take things and we use our body as just a vehicle. Yeah. Like, this isn't us. Yeah. Like, this is just a vehicle that I use to go to work, to work out. Like, this isn't me. And like, you don't even listen to your body to say, why am I getting anxiety? Why am I tired all the time? Why am I getting headaches? Why am I thirsty all the time? Like, and then you go to a doctor, and then hopefully the doctor knows what he's talking about. Because I don't know if you've gone to, like, I haven't been to the doctor in years. Yeah. But I remember when I went to the doctor to get some blood work, like just to see how I was going, because I had started the vegan diet, and I remember my doctor's out of shape. So I'm, so I'm like,
that's totally true, bro. There's a lot of doctors and just nurses that are just, it's like, well, you guys are in the health,
or they're smoking cigarettes outside the hospital, and we all have our addictions, we all have things that we're working on. I'm not here to judge people, but at the same time, you have a responsibility. For example, if I'm telling you, I'm on a plant-based diet, and then all of a sudden you catch me eating steak, you're gonna be like, well, now you lose your credibility. We all have our weaknesses, and we all have things that we do. And I'm not perfect.
We see David at Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, man, double steak, but I think, like, again, if you're gonna take the responsibility to call yourself an influencer, one, be honest and be transparent. Say, you know what, I have an addiction. Yeah. Or maybe you don't call it an addiction, but I have something that I'm working on. And I think that's what gets people to really like appreciate you, because they're like, whether Ray's going through something, whether it's good or bad, he lets us into his world. Yeah. And there might be someone out there that, like, every single time that you post something, they're tuning in, bro, because they're like, I see myself in him. For example, like a bit like, I
don't know which way.
You'd be surprised. Like, you'd be surprised, because there's people that send me messages literally from like all over, like Latin America and like here in the US, and they're like, this one thing that you said like really touched me. Like, I've been through that. Like, and I'm looking forward for you to go like deeper into that subject.
Yeah, I've had people reach out to me for things like that too, and it's always a good feeling. You're like, damn, right. Like, it motivates you to continue doing what you're doing, because sometimes you drop someone like just in a way supporting your music too. Like, right. Like, sometimes you put so much content out to, social media, hoping people can listen to it, hoping there's actually people listening to it. Right. And a lot of times you get a lot of people that might not even, you might even get any response to a lot of the things. Yeah. And sometimes you're like, damn, like, this is so good.
No one's listening.
Like, But in reality, everyone's listening, bro. But some people just don't click the like. So in your mind, you think like, oh, they're not liking it, or they don't like comment on it. Right. And that's what makes you feel good, because you feel reassured, like, oh, I'm doing something
human,
good.
Bro. We're human.
But in reality, like, when someone reaches out to you, it's like, it's something that feels good. Like, okay, it's almost like you need that reassurance no matter what. Like, it feels good to have, even if it's one person, because like, okay, I'm helping someone, So I felt the same way when you putting your music out, even though it was legit and everything. Right. I felt the need that I had to reach out and be like, bro, like, I support you, what you've been doing. I've seen what you've done since high school. Right. And like where you're at and what you've been doing. Like, I know some people might not even feel the need to even reach out to you and even say that, but I know it's going to give you that reassurance to be like, damn, I'm doing something.
And that's big. And sorry to cut you off, but like, that's super big, bro, because like, I definitely want to highlight that, because the reality is, what makes people want to reach out and show love, especially as men, right? We have this thing called ego. Yeah. And ego gets in the way, and envy gets in the way, and jealousy gets in the way. And I'm in a certain mentality where no one is going to take nothing that's meant for me. You know what I mean? So like, when you reached out, that was real big for me. And honestly, that's something that I want to highlight, because if you got a friend that is out there doing something and they're passionate, like, it's something legit, it's something that motivates them, you lose nothing, bro,
Yeah.
by hitting the like button.
Yeah.
You lose nothing by hitting a share. Like, you don't even have to post it on your profile. Like, put it on your story, bro. You lose nothing by doing that.
Yeah.
And so when you reached out, I really want to highlight that. I really want to commend you for it because as a man to the man, like, it takes for you to drop the ego and say, you know what, like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
When I came in here and I seen this full setup, I'm like, damn, like, I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
Like, I seen, like, I've known you since like you started, like, since you were like personal trainer, like,
Well,
and
16,
this is like
17, 18, 17,
yeah,
18, yeah.
like, and then I mean, you had how many people that you were training at that time
We're at the
when you were 18 years old?
Oh, okay, like at 24, like a handful of people.
Handful of
and Then I
people.
went to the Cow Fit in Manteca and had
Right.
another decent handful of people. And then from there we left and kind of outgrew and then just
Right.
kind of kept pushing
Right.
it, bro.
Now I come out here and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm walking into a full gym where I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
like, I know the owner of this whole
Yeah,
joint.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just really want to highlight that because it goes a long way, bro, for me to know somebody for so many years and for you not to have that fear to say, you know what, like, I'm going to share his stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm proud of him. And it's something that's mutual where it's
Yeah.
like, bro, if you need something, like, you let me know. And as I continue to grow, I'm the type of person, bro, where if I'm meeting, if I have a table, there's more than enough space, bro. And
Exactly.
as long as you're bringing something to that table, and I'm not saying I always have to benefit from what you bring. Like, I've met people, and I know you've probably met people, bro, that they can't offer you anything financially, but their energy motivates you, bro.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like, if you can bring that to the table, bro, I'm more than happy for everyone to eat. I'm the type of person that I actually get joy from seeing everybody else enjoy, like, the fruit of the labor, you know?
And it's funny because that's what I get. I think I get that from my dad too, because my dad always, since I was little, I remember him every time inviting people over, paying for everybody's meal. Anytime we go out to eat with my dad, he pays for everybody's meal.
Right.
And it's not like, oh, I'm flexing on everybody. It's like I want them to take care of everybody because they're with me.
Right.
So I kind of get that same vibe from kind of from my dad because it just feels good to be able to have everybody eat and enjoy, have a good time. Because how many times can you actually do that? Those are the things that actually matter in life, not the Gucci bag and the Gucci belt and the that's just cool. You know,
it's
I like
cool.
it.
Yeah, we all want it. You know, it's
cool.
like,
but in reality, that that shit could burn, and I don't want my boy to burn. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or lose. This is one thing I always tell people, bro. And I went through some experiences in Colombia where I went out there and I realized that the dollar goes so much further in Colombia, you know, and it's like it's 4 times more. So if I have $1 out there, it's basically $4, right? So I went out there and I was like really trying to, like, if I was with people, like, I was ordering, like, you know, bottles for us to drink, and like I was ordering food for everyone to eat. And it gets to a point where you have to be able to tell the fine line, because when you start showing a lot of food, people are like, oh, well, he has a lot of food in the stores, let me take this. You know, or people are like, do this favor for me, where you're like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable to ask you for a favor like that. So that's the bad thing, where it's like, I learned that this trip, where it's, you have to be able to tell who's grateful and who's not, you know?
Yeah, because you start trying to, like, help everybody, like, just not in the way of helping, but just in a way they might start seeing like you're trying to flex on everybody.
If he has it, let me take some.
Yeah, well, you know what? Screw, he has more than enough. I'm going to keep taking. And then in reality, it's like, okay, well,
they become vultures, bro. People and it's not like, one is because of necessity. Now, I'm not going to take away that there's other countries, bro, where people are in need of, bro, $50 in Colombia is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because people are making like $7 a day. You know, so to them, it's like, it's almost a week's worth of pay.
Yeah.
So definitely necessity. One thing I realized, bro, is that necessity will make people do things that they wouldn't do.
Well,
they'll go against their code of conduct with necessity. And we all would, right? If you have a kid now, which congratulations, you know, welcome to fatherhood. Like, if God forbid all this goes down and you don't have any way to feed your child, and you know that let's say there's a truck full of food and it's unlocked, you're probably going to take something from there because you got to feed your family.
Yeah.
Right? So necessity will make you do that. Now, you can say, you know what? I'm just going to take one item that I know can feed them for a couple of days. And then you get greedy and you say, you know what? I'm just going to take the whole truck. You know what I'm saying? So that makes the difference between having necessity and then you just being greedy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I realize that from anywhere you go, it can be here in the States, bro. It's anywhere you go, there's necessity, and you have to be real cautious because some people just really want to use you.
Yeah,
there's people out there that are real that's how they, that's like their come up, being vultures.
And that's why sometimes like us, like, I guess, again, like me, people like me and you, we tend to fly alone.
Right.
And it's not like on purpose, like, oh, we don't like people. We love people. I love people, but I love being around people. And I don't want to say I like to be center of attention, but in a way that's almost like what we become.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we just have that voice. We have that loud voice. We have that energy when you walk in. People are like, oh, that's so-and-so.
You speak when you don't speak.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. And I like, if I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So like, for example, I remember, so I had an actual career, right? So I have a actual like a degree in business, and it was emphasis in entrepreneurship. And that's another topic I want to touch on too, just school as a whole. But I remember, so when I was a director of a company, and I remember the owner of the company told me, first of all, the owner of the company didn't know how old I was. He thought I was a lot older just by the way that I presented myself. Yeah. And then two is like, he told me when you walk into a room, so I would give a room full of supervisors, which I'm like probably one of the youngest ones in the room, and I'm presenting to them, right? So there's about, 40, 50 people in this room. And one thing that he told me, and it's something that I didn't know and I should have known, but he said, when you walk in, people just like tune into what you're going to say. Like when you come in, people know you're in the room. And then I took that, and I didn't take that like the way I should have with the full value of it. But then what it taught me is that, damn, so then we're energy, bro. We have energy. You have a certain energy that when you walk into this gym, people know who the owner is.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You step into the floor and it's just like that vibe. They want it. They want more of it. And it's
who is
like,
this guy?
Yeah.
And
that's kind of like, I guess, a gift from God that we've got.
Yeah.
So, man, so we touched a lot of, we hit those areas a lot. So, let's get back into your music. I know your fans, like, you just you're dropping an EP, right?
I'm dropping an EP.
And I know you just dropped your single and it hits. Oh man, I'm gonna try to edit it and put it on the thing.
Yeah. It'd be cool. Yeah, give it a little taste.
I'll tell my girl that she's my editor. She's the one that edits my video. She's good at that. So I'll have her see if we can get it in there.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about what drove you to going to Colombia and doing your EP out there. I know you were out there just to record your album, make some music videos.
Yeah.
And what kind of motivated you to? I mean, because were you kind of, I don't know if you were silent for a little bit or what was it?
Yeah, like, no, I definitely was. Like, this is when the people say, like, the quote unquote you fell off, right?
I wouldn't say you fell off, but you. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you were.
And you know what? Like, it don't even like it to me. It doesn't even sound bad because to me it motivates me, right? Yeah. And at the same time, like I would be a hypocrite to say, you know what, I didn't fall off, but then I didn't push any music for 2 years.
Yeah, like that would be like maybe you were just working on yourself out there. You were working on yourself, and music was in the priority at the time.
Exactly.
But then you got your head straight, and you were like, okay, you found what you really love again, and you went back to it with 100% more effort. So
right.
That's where you're at. So you went to Colombia. What drove you to go there and get that going? So I know your fans want to hear that because you were out there for a
while. Yeah.
5 years.
I was in quarantine mode. So I went to. First of all, I went to Colombia. I was in a career again. I was already a director of a company, very successful, very grateful for that opportunity. But it got to a point where I didn't feel fulfilled. Like I was going to work every single day. The reason that I was doing it is because I was able to touch and help so many people. And that really inspired me because at the end of the day, what I want to do is influence people, and I want to be that voice for the voiceless. And it was something that really motivated me to do it. And it just got to a point where I was like, some of the values of this company go against my values. I left, bro, making 6 figures. To a lot of people, that might not sound like a lot of money. And to other people, that might sound like a lot of money. But just to let you know where my character is at, right?
Yeah, it was a good career. Like, there's a comfortable career to be and live and retire from. Like, there's no need to leave that unless you weren't comfortable with it.
Yeah. So, long story short, I'm at this company, and it gets to a point where I just said, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm not able to impact people the way that I would want it to. I have a lot of power in this company, but there's still people that are above me that control what I can change or what I can't. So it got to a point where I just felt like I was getting depressed, bro. I felt like I wasn't fulfilling my full life purpose. And it was hard to get up every single day. Like, honestly, bro.
Just that routine. You're like, man, I'm going to get old doing this and I'm going to retire. That's my life.
To tell you this, bro, it got to a point where if, like, I needed to put either, like, some type of caffeine drink, whether it was coffee or pre-workout, literally on my nightstand. So as soon as my alarm clock went off, I had to drink it on the spot so it can kickstart.
Damn.
I could not get up on my own will because I didn't want to continue to do it.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to save up. I'm going to save up some money. I saved up, a good chunk of change. And I said, you know what? I'm going to quit. A lot of people were like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you're leaving a really good career. A lot of people were like, they enjoyed being able to speak to me. And I used to talk to people and like recommend them books. And I used to just give them like advice and stuff like that. And so they were like, don't quit. Like, we need you. But at the same time, we know that, you got to do what's best for you. So long story short, I quit. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Colombia. I had been there before. I actually had gone to Colombia in February. And like I fell in love with Medellin.
Yeah.
So then I said, you know what? I'm going to quit and I'm going to go out there for, 3 weeks and I'm just going to get my mind right. Like I'm going to find myself again. As crazy as that sound, bro. Like a lot of people out there don't know who they are.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there haven't found themselves.
They're on autopilot.
They're on autopilot.
They're on autopilot, and then they don't realize that they're doing a bunch of stuff and then they realize that, who are they? What do they do? What are they even meant to do? They're just on this routine, and it's like I feel
social
like
conditioning is what it is.
I feel like you were in a position where I think 99% of Americans are in.
Yeah.
And they want to get out, but they don't, and you pulled the plug. So I'm out. And you did you did what was best for you.
Exactly.
It might not have been financially the best thing right away.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. Money's money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But your time is now. You're going to be old and you're going to remember the experiences. So you were like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out.
Right.
I'm out. I'm plugging it. I'm going to, regardless, you're a hustler.
Yeah.
Your mindset's legit. You're not just going to go and be broke. You're going to do something, make something out of yourself.
No. And you know what's crazy? The crazy thing about that, bro, is that I left a job making 6 figures and now I feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? So why do I feel like $1 million? I feel like $1 million because I got my mental health right. I'm getting my physical health right. And it's not just to look good, but it's for me to feel good, bro. For me to look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm exactly where I want to be. And I'm also honest with myself and I'm able to say, you know what, David, you still got some work to do, but we're going to get there. Like, don't give up. You've already made it this far. And also the reason I say, and again, this is all exclusive and I'm super thankful, bro. You gave me the opportunity to be able to get this on film and on this podcast, but just to motivate people, like it's super hard. I contemplated for months, bro, that when am I going to quit? And then I would say, you know what, I'm quitting this day. And then I would push it 2 weeks. And then I would push it a month.
Sounds like a guy that wants to work out, but that's just like, I'll work out next week.
Tomorrow.
And then just, it's scary, bro. But once you do it, it's like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
No.
I'm doing it. Yeah, it's challenging, but I'm rolling with the punches. I'm going.
Exactly.
And I'm conditioning myself for it physically, mentally. And okay, there's opportunities now, but you got yourself your mental health back. You got yourself your time back. Right. And that's the thing. You gave yourself time now to do things that you felt like were gonna help you. Yeah, they're important for you.
Important to me. Right.
And now that's gonna make you money in the long run. At some point, somehow,
exactly,
it connects, man.
Exactly. And what's crazy is that I was doing music for a long time, and we talked about that. And next thing you know, I go to Colombia, and everything starts working itself out. And it's like it couldn't have worked itself out better than it did. So to me, it just taught me like everything works when it's supposed to, and you get rewarded for the risk you take. I took a big risk, and you know what? I still possibly haven't seen the outcome of that risk. Yeah. It might be super good, or it might be something where I'm like, I'm going to have to grind my teeth and say, you know what? This is what I want, and now I got to eat it, and I got to just, man up and just got to, something better coming out of it. I've never, and I know you probably can also be a testimony to that, but I've never gone through a hard time and not gotten out of it.
Yeah.
And I've never gone through a hard time and not learned something from it.
Yeah.
And now, bro, I'm literally living fearless. Now, if I get a job tomorrow and it doesn't fulfill me and they could pay me $300,000, I'm quitting, bro. I'm leaving.
You took control of your life, bro.
My life, bro.
You know what you like. You know what you want in relationships, in work, in business, in health, everything. You know what you want. You're you're a grounded person now.
Yeah.
And when you're grounded, you can't be pushed. They could tell you, well, this is that. Well, this is that. Okay, well, that's great. Do it. But I'm doing this.
Right. I'm gonna tell you the biggest reason, and I know the CEO of the company was probably gonna hear this. Maybe not now, but once, you know what I'm saying? Once I start getting those billboard hits, eventually you're gonna hear this. But what was the main reason why I quit? I don't run away from hard work. Never have. Never will. The biggest thing that will make me quit if I'm not appreciated.
Yeah.
If I'm disrespected.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing. That was, to me, that was the straw where I was like, you don't appreciate what I bring to the table. You don't fulfill your promises, and you disrespect me. From there, it's like, find someone else that's going to give you the same outcome that I'm giving to you. And to this day, to my knowledge, it's been, it's going to be 4 months and they still haven't replaced that position. So it just tells you that what I brought to the table wasn't for money. It was because I wanted people to be better. I wanted us to be a better company. I wanted people to come to work and they know they can count on me. And what did it show me, bro? It showed me that when I have my company, what do I need to do? I need to make sure that every single person that makes me $1 knows that they're appreciated, knows that they can count on me, knows if they need something from me, like I needed something from them, they can count on me.
Yeah.
And that's super important, bro. The culture that you bring to your company. I'd rather have a company with 20 people on my staff than have a company with 1,000 people on my staff and I don't know them.
Yeah.
That's one thing for me, bro. Now it's like I want to know all of my staff, like, and I want my staff to feel like when they come work for me, it's a family. And it's not just a cliche, like we're a family. Like, no, you actually know that I know who your wife is. I know who your kids are. I know what sports they play. Like, I try to do the best that I can to make sure that I know my employees and for them to not feel like I am like this superior that they can never come talk to.
Yeah, you want to make them feel comfortable because there's always that natural feeling of like, oh, your boss is your boss, and you get that feeling of like, oh, I'm kind of nervous to even bring something up, and it's like I want them to feel, or you want them to feel like, again, you're appreciated. They could come to you for anything, even if it's good or bad, and you're gonna not spaz on them. You're gonna understand it and try to come up with a solution for them to either make more money, help them financially with whatever it is, or adjust their schedule, whatever it is. You know, you try to make it work, because again, these people are the ones that help you make money. Of course, there's certain times that you got to set the line. You know, there's a fine line between, as a business owner, you know, becoming too friendly with certain people. But you just gotta, you know, friendly as in like business, but that's it. And
business friendly.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've been through myself through where I became too friendly with one of, you know, employees. And it just became, it wasn't good because it's
bad for business.
Not that they lose respect for you, but I would say they lose respect for you as an owner. They get too comfortable. If they're late, you may feel like, oh, you can't fire them. And it's like, no, screw that, dude. Like, this is not how it works. So I've learned from that and doing some changes and things like that. But
I mean, in some of the most successful business owners, like, I think I've heard a lot of them where it's like you have to fire your friends sometimes.
You have to, bro, and it's tough. You know, it's very tough, and you know, but once you do it, it's good for both. It's actually good for both because they're gonna realize that they have more opportunities doing something else, and then you're gonna realize that it was better that way anyways, and it's good for both. It's not the end of the world, you know.
Exactly. So
go back to your Colombia.
So going to Colombia. So that was the decision why I decided to go to Colombia. So I'm in Colombia for about a week and a half. Quarantine starts now. I don't know how it was here in the U.S., but out there in Colombia, it was like country shuts down. Like airports close out. There's no local flights.
Right away.
No international flights. Like the thing is, like, it took about a week, but to me, it's like coming in with the American mentality. You're like, there's no way they're gonna shut the whole country down. Like we come with our, like, I kind of want to say in a sense is arrogant way, because you're like, they wouldn't do this in our country. Like, they're not gonna do it over here. Like, they're living even worse. Like, they can't close stores down. Like, how are people gonna eat? And man, like, there it goes. A week goes by and, like, you know, everyone's like, yeah, like, the airports are closed. They're not opening anytime soon. There's no date for it. And, like, I'm like, oh, like, I'm actually stuck. Like, even if I wanted to leave, like, there is no option to leave. So at that point, like, stores were closing down. Like, you could only go grocery shopping twice a week. It was based off your ID. Like, the last number on your ID, that's when you could go shopping. And everyone was, like, wearing masks. Nobody wanted to go outside. Like, it was literally like end of the world. No one wanted to go outside. It was a super crazy experience. But at the same time, it was very, like, life-changing, where I get to see, like, you start to value the rights that we have in America, because you're like, you can't do that to Americans. Like, people are going to go crazy if you try to shut everything down, airports, everything. People are like, that's not going to happen. So what did it do? I got to a point where I'm a type of person, bro, I just don't want to sit down and do nothing, right? Like, I'm like, I have to be productive. I have to take advantage of this. I couldn't go out because you couldn't go out unless you had a permit to work.
That was in Colombia?
That's in Colombia. So I was going out and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to risk it. Like I said, I'm going to live with no fear. If I got to go to Colombian jail, I got to go to Colombian jail, bro. And if they're going to send me back and deport me, they're going to save me a trip. So I can't get a flight. They might as well book me and send me back. So I get on Instagram and I start looking up hashtags, man, like, recording studios Medellin, like, just like Medellin music, and then came across like 3 different studios, and then I ended up hitting one guy, and like, he didn't reply back for a while, and I was just like, shit, like his studio seems real legit, like I want to record to him, you know. And one thing that I decided that I was going to do out there in Colombia is, like, I'm going to take a social media detox. So usually me every 3 months, every 3 to 4 months, I'll deactivate my Instagram just because it's good for your mental health, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's super good, and I do it at least for a week, and I get off of it. So I hit him up, got off Instagram for a week, deactivated, get back on Instagram, then he hits me up, and to me it was like perfect. It was just like it was almost like he was waiting for me or I was waiting for him, but it worked out perfect. And yeah, we ended up, meeting up. I go to his studio again. I'm moving around the city in a taxi. And I was just like, I got to move in a taxi because they think I'm probably going to the airport or I'm going to like somewhere where I'm going to work or doing something I'm supposed to be doing. So luckily I never got pulled over. Other people did, and other people got fined. I actually seen people getting fined because they were finding people on the street. If you were walking and you had nowhere to be, you got fined. So I got lucky that never happened. I went, met up with the guy, with the guy at, it's called 103 D Music. Recording studio, met up with him, and we just kicked it off, bro. And he's an actual musician. Like, the dude's super talented. And I met him, and we're like, all right, man, let's get cooking. And yeah, bro, like we just started working, and it's just like it was organic. It worked. Like he had the exact the beats that I was looking for. He's an actual musician, so he was like creating everything on the spot for me. Like I was able to choose the instruments. I was able to change like the structure of the song, everything. And yeah, bro, long story short, it's like I was in quarantine. A lot of people, and again, to each their own. Like I'm the type of person where I just say things how they are. And if that offends you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to say it, but while everybody was like Netflix and chill and was like eating at home and like, going through a whole pack of Oreo cookies, like I was like, I got to be productive. And while people were like not working at all and not being productive, I was able to record a whole EP.
You maximized the time that was given during
Exactly.
quarantine. You looked at there was a problem, and you looked at the solution for the problem instead of just sitting there complaining about the problem. Like,
and I took a risk. I took a risk. Like, I mean, if I would have recorded an EP, but then I had, $500 worth of fines, like that probably would have hurt me a little bit, or if I got, God forbid, they would have put me in jail for a month, like I wouldn't have been able to record much, but it's, again, it goes into, if you don't take any risks, you're not gonna excel everybody else, because everybody else, one thing about Colombia that I realize is that the people are very like, they don't want to go against authority. Like if authority tells them to do something, they just do it.
Oh, they pretty follow the rules.
They follow the rules type of people. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there has to be people that say, you know what, we're moving like sheep. This doesn't make sense. Yeah. We have to be logical. And it's not like I'm going out and partying. Like I'm going out and being productive. And if I was like, if this is my full-time job, like I need to sell music in order for me to be able to, make some money. So in a sense, like I am working, and you're taking away from, from my pockets. So I was just like, you know what? I got to take the risk and F it, bro. Like whatever comes with it, I got to man up and own it. And nothing but positive things came from it.
That's what's up, man. So obviously, how many songs you record for your album?
So I have 6 already.
6 songs.
6 done.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. How many are you planning on doing? Or just
it's going to be an EP. So it's going to be short. It's 6. Okay. What I wanted to do is it's an introduction to me doing Latin music. So I had done a song before, my first time that I went to Colombia, and it was like Spanish and English. And this was like the first time where I did like a full Spanish. The EP is going to be called Full Flow. Why did I call it Full Flow? To me, it's like full flow. Like when you're in Latin America, when they say you got flow, like to them, it's like, man, like either you got like good energy, or like you got like, it could be like, oh, like you just got like this like energy, you got like this like swag to you, you got like this like thing to you. But to me, it was just like I'm going like fully into this. Like it's like I already took a big risk of like leaving my comfort zone. Like I'm going in this full flow. Like
it makes total sense, bro. Everything that you went through just to get to where you were recording, making an album, the EP. It's like a perfect name for Full Flow.
Full Flow.
And it's what they use that term they use out there. So it just goes with it.
Yeah. It gave, like I said, bro, everything just worked itself out to where it was like all the doors that I closed and I took the risk on, like all doors that I never thought I would be able to open up by themselves. And like I said, like get into a legit studio, get with someone that that you're able to work with. I was able to record 3 music videos. Mind you, we're in quarantine when you can't even go out unless you have to. And I recorded 3 music videos and recorded a full EP. Nice. So it just shows you like sometimes you got to take those risks. And just because sometimes they tell you something is illegal doesn't mean it's actually morally right. Yeah. And if you break that rule, I broke a rule that was a rule to you, but it didn't go against my morals. So I didn't break a moral code where it made me feel like I was a bad person. I just like broke a rule that made no sense to me.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It totally doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but you know, people got to follow what they got to follow here.
It's a lot of sheep. There's a lot of sheep out there. I'm the type of person, like, I'm the type of person, I analyze everything, bro. If you tell me today that, like, the sky is blue and I see it's red, like, I'm not going to say, you know what, you're right. Like, no, it's not.
It's red.
Explain to, but I'm also like, explain to me what you see so I can see what you see, because you might be colorblind, bro. Like, and then we're able to come into a conclusion instead of fighting over something that we were both right.
Yeah, we're like,
you
it's
know?
red to you, it's blue to me, but I'm colorblind, so I understand.
Boom. So we're, you know, and I'm the type, we gotta have a conversation, bro. I think that's the I'm looking as I come back to the States. I see it more here than I do in other countries, and that's like the back and forth with, like, are you a Republican, or are you a Democrat, or are you a liberal? Are you are you more traditional? Like, there's this big division where if you ask me if I'm like more Democrat or Republican, like, I believe in both. Like, there's both that have good to them. And we become so like divisive where it's like, no, you have to be either one or the other, you know? And it's like, and we have stupid arguments when we're like, if we just realize that maybe there shouldn't be two parties and then we should just be one party, or maybe we should be 15 because all of us are different and we all believe different things, like, we would get a lot further instead of arguing over things that to me are senseless, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's getting into the politics, and that's never that's gonna be there forever. It's never gonna change, and that's why sometimes people don't talk about it, but you know, sometimes it needs to be talked about and explained. But again, that's
respect. I think it's the biggest thing. Like, if you tell me something I don't agree with, first of all, like, you know, I think as a person and even more as a man, like, you have to say, you know what, I don't agree with it, but I respect it. And, you know, we'll just agree to disagree and move forward, you know?
Simple.
We're all human beings.
For sure, man. Yep. So I know you dropped that song. I know you're going to drop, actually, you're about to drop a
video tonight.
Yeah. So tonight being, what are we on today? Wednesday. What day is it? 27th, May 27th.
Yeah.
Usually I drop these on Monday. I might drop this one early, so I might drop this one, maybe even drop it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday. So we'll just get it out.
Yeah.
But so you got that video dropping. I know that song's been Voodoo's been a hit.
Doing numbers
on YouTube.
It's doing numbers.
It's kind of what you at, like fucking hundreds plus K.
I think right now it's like at 100. I want to say it's like at 134,000 in 3 weeks. So it's moving real fast. It gravitated. So it's 133,000 in 3 weeks. It's been one of the songs, mind you, it's moved faster than any video I've even done, and that's just a song. But I mean, it's being heard. You can look at your analytics on YouTube, and it's like, it's being heard literally all over the world.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, just from everything that, like I said, everything you went through, everything that you did just to get to where you're at, and then pop that out, and then it just boom, people are listening to it, and it's kind of going. It's just like, I think, like I said, it's a catchy song. You kind of came up with something catchy, and it's in the Spanish vibes right now. That's kind of taking off, and I mean, I think you're doing your thing, man. It's gonna continue blowing up, and I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to hear all your other songs.
The rest of them,
the rest of them, the vibes on them, and I'm excited to see the video too.
Right. Yeah. So that drops tonight. It drops at so I'm dropping it at 9 Medellin time, which is 7 Pacific, where we're at right now. A lot of it is gonna be connected back to Medellin. I'm super appreciative of Medellin because it just showed me a lot. Like, a lot of people, when they think of Medellin, they think of like the drugs, the women, like the partying, but one thing that people don't realize is that, like, the Medellin people have like a really warm and like just like a really good energy to them. And people miss that because they go to just the tourist spots and they go focus on just like whatever you want, you can find it. Like, if you want to find women, drugs, and partying, you can just go to Vegas. Yeah. You know, like, you can find it anywhere. But the biggest thing that Medellin showed me is that the little that people have, like, they're still willing to share it. And like, if you ask someone for directions of how to get to a certain spot, like over here in the States, they probably wouldn't even answer you, like, you know, because everyone's in their own world. Over there, it's like they'll show you exactly where it's at. And I had this lady that's like, you know what, I'll just walk you there. And it was like a block away. And it's like, she didn't have to go out of her way to do that. But they have like a really, like, just like a real sweet personality to them. And people miss that when they go looking for a specific thing. So a lot of it is, I'm just real big on appreciation. And like, I like, Medellin has like this special place, like, just has a special place for me now because it allowed me to just have like this huge growth and be able to create. And yeah, like I eventually want to be able to live there a couple months and then come back to the States. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, just going back to the music, like I was able to record 3 music videos. I have this one song called Cupido, so it's like Cupid. That one is like, it's more of a romantic, and like the few girlfriends that I have that like, you know, that are like just friends that are girls, like I let them listen to that and they're just like, man, like consider me a fan. Like that one's like, that one's like, Voodoo is more like, you know, like your party, your dancing, and this other one is just like it touches women like in a certain way. So I'm real excited. And the video is ridiculous. Like just to give you like a little like snippet of what the storyline is, like it in Medellin, like they have these things called prepagos, right? So it's like escorts, and it's real big in Medellin. So it's legal for escorts to provide their services, and a lot of people know Medellin for that. So storyline is basically I meet this girl that I requested to come to my spot, and then we just end up falling in love. Like, and it happens a lot. Like you'd be surprised how these girls are super tough skinned. Like I'm not falling in love. Most of them are like, fuck man, like they did me wrong. I'm just gonna get my money and that's it. And then you talk to like people and they're like, yeah, like I have a friend that was one, and then she fell in love and she got married and now has kids and a family and everything. So it has like deeper storyline, but that's kind of like, and it's like, we shot the video super nice. It's like, you know, it's like 4K. It's like super nice quality, like storyline, like colors, and it's really dope. And it's, again, the album's complete right now. I'm looking at probably releasing it in July. Got to see what's going on with this whole quarantine, because I want to be able to have like boots on the ground and be able to promote. But at the same time, quarantine is allowing people to get their numbers up because everyone is on their phones at home.
So as long as you get them to stream it or just get marketed to them, and they gonna listen because they got the time. Some people got the time.
Yep.
So that's what's up, man. I'm 100% supportive of what you're doing. Like I said,
I appreciate
the
that.
music's dope, man. Continue following it, and then maybe even play it at the gym. You know?
I mean, it definitely gets you moving. Yeah, it definitely have two of them that definitely you put that, like, people don't understand it, and I've had people like, most of my fan base is English speaking, you know, so when they listen to it, they're like, I don't know what you're saying, but like it's catchy and it moves me, and I'm like,
and when you got people saying that, it's like, damn, I'm doing something right.
I'm doing something right.
You can't understand it, but they like it. It's like,
exactly.
That's what's up, man.
Exactly.
So, man, again, super excited to hear the whole album. I'm super excited to see that video.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully your career just keeps growing, man. Keep boosting up.
Yeah.
I know we wanted to touch on 2 more things. I know you want, because I know I don't want to leave your fans or anybody listening. You know, they were going to talk about this.
What happened? The comments. All the comments was just that. Yeah.
So I know you said something about school.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about like the whole the vegan stuff.
The vegan diet.
So let's talk. Like, I guess I don't know which one you want to hit first. Just kind of cap on it real quick, like why you became vegan.
Yeah.
And then we can go about the
school thing.
Yeah.
So the vegan thing, it was crazy. So this was so I've been 4 years on a plant based, and I'm real cautious of saying like I'm vegan, because a lot of people know this, like the vegan community like will like they'll like slaughter you if you do something that was not vegan. So what I tell people is like, I'm 99% vegan, so I just have that 1% in case I make like an innocent mistake. I'm not like slaughtered in front of like everyone on social media. So the reason I started doing more like the plant-based diet is I used to work, she was like the secretary at our like at this job where I used to work at, and as soon as I seen her, something like interested me about her, and it wasn't like I was just like, I'm super in love, like this is it was just like her energy, something about her, like her energy drew me. And there was this other girl that used to work with her, and I feel like there was like some type of like envy or jealousy amongst them. And so one day she introduces me to this girl, and she's like, hey, this is so-and-so, she's vegan. And everybody would say some like stupid remark like, oh, well, I love steak.
She's vegan.
Yeah, like basically like she's a weirdo. That's how I felt, right? Yeah. And she was so used to people just being like, I love steak, and like, oh, I love animals, like I like to eat them, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, hey, props. I was like, I don't have that discipline, but you know, props to you if you're able to like take things out of your diet. I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but you know, props to you. If you do it, shit, by all means. Like, and I didn't know the difference between what was vegan and what was vegetarian, bro. I didn't know, like, I've eaten meat like my whole life. Like, I was the type of person where I was eating like 5 meals a day, and it was like a chicken breast and then steak and asparagus and rice, like the typical staple, like trying to bodybuild, you know?
Yeah.
So long story short, that was like, I think on a Thursday. Then on a Friday, we all go out to eat as a group, and they go to this Chinese restaurant, and she's like, she orders like some like stir fry, like vegan style. And she's like, with tofu. And it was the first time I had ever heard like, what the fuck is tofu? Right. And I seen it kind of look like a cheese block. And I was like, what the fuck? But I was like, but that shit kind of looks fire. Like it smelled good, you know? Yeah. So I joked around and I was like, man, I'm gonna go vegan for a week. Her eyes lit up, bro. She was just like, cause she wasn't used to hearing that, like, you know? So then she's like, man, I'm gonna send you all this information, David. Like, you don't know how excited I am for you to go vegan, blah, blah, blah. So boom, sends me this email with like all the links of like different restaurants, different blogs. Like, you know, I didn't even have a Pinterest account. And she's like, Pinterest, go on there, look at meals, blah, blah, blah. And they put me on Pinterest. And I'm like, damn, Pinterest is the shit. Yeah. When it comes to like cooking, it's the shit.
It's cool for everything, even travel and shit,
travel,
bro. All that.
Quotes, everything.
It comes up,
Yeah, so Pinterest definitely has to come up. So, yeah, so then, and one thing that she put on the email was like, and if you ever want to go to a restaurant, I'm down. So I'm like, man, she low key like puts herself in a date, you know? And I'm like, shit, why not? So I go vegan for a week. I get challenged to do that, and I lost 8 pounds in a week. And mind you, like I was like bodybuilding, and the strength I felt I had, but I was like, but I always felt like kind of sluggish. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I go vegan for, I had never eaten so many vegetables in my life and fruits, because I was just like making smoothies most of the time. Like I'd grab a carrot and I'd grab celery and I'd grab like an apple and an orange and throw that, and I'd be like, damn, this shit's kind of fire. Sometimes it tastes like shit. Yeah. But I was like, I just felt good, bro. I felt full of energy. I felt light, and I was like, there's something to this.
Felt
like
full flow.
I felt full flow back then. So then, you know, like I start going out with her to restaurants, and like we're just like a friendship, right? I'm thinking like, this girl is not really digging me, because we like came from two like very separate lifestyles. Like this girl came from a place where like she lived like in Morgan Hill and like this big ass house, and like her dad was like one of the main dudes at the company. So I'm like, she's not gonna look at this dude that's like, I mean, I wasn't broke, but I wasn't like at that high standard. Like she had studied to like be a lawyer, and like she's super bright girl, you know? Yeah. Not saying that I'm dumb, but I was just like, I didn't feel like there was that chemistry there.
Different lifestyles.
Different lifestyles. But it also showed me that example, like you need to value yourself, because people are going to see you for what you bring to the table, not what you have on or what you own. So yeah, we end up going out. I think we went to the city. We end up going out to the city as friends. And then boom, we're just like, hey, like we should just make this, like she actually told me like we should just make this like a relationship, you know? And I was just like, damn, like I didn't even know that's how you felt. And then boom, I went vegan. From that day I got challenged, never touched meat again, never like ever ate anything animal product. And then I just started going out with her. So it made it easier for me, because I could go to restaurants that she already knew, because she had been vegan for like 4 years at that time. Yeah. So she knew all the restaurants in San Jose and like in the city and Oakland. Like she knew all the restaurants. So it made it super easy. Like if I wanted a burrito, I'd go somewhere where it was like a vegan style burrito, and I was able to eat that. And yeah, bro, in April of this year, it was 4 years going plant-based. Why did I do it? I didn't necessarily do it for like the animal side of like saving animals, but I did it just because how I felt health-wise. So like I had never felt like that.
You're doing it for a week. You felt super good.
Super good, bro.
So you just went with it. And
I went with it. And then from there, I was just like, you know what? Like this happened for a reason. I feel like this for a reason. And I'm just going to stay like this. And
as long as that's the thing, if you try and you feel great, you know, why not stick to it? It's how your body's telling. It's what your body's telling you. You know what I'm saying? Someone might do vegan or that type of eating, and they might not feel good in it. Right. But you know, it's all for the person. Just try it. It's not good. It's not bad. Right. It is what makes you feel good.
And do your research. Like before I did it and took the challenge. Like I actually took the challenge for a week, and I didn't do as much research, because I was like, I'm not gonna die in a week. But if I do this long term, I want to make sure like all of my nutrition is right. So I started doing more and more research, and just like started seeing things as like, you know, what are the outcomes of eating like red meat all the time, and like, you know, what happens when you eat like fish that are like farm raised, and you start realizing like I never knew what farm raised meant. Like I thought that just meant like they're out in the lake, but then you figure out that they're like in this pool, and there's like a bunch of fish, and you're like, how is that sanitary? Like, how are you going to get like a good product when like an animal is going through like trauma their whole life, and then you're consuming that? So I really started like learning more about energy, and I was like, you are what you eat, right? So if you're eating something that's toxic, if you're eating something that's going through trauma their whole life, what's going to happen when you consume that energy, right? We're not even talking from like a chemical standpoint, but like I'm talking from like a spiritual, like everything is energy. Like if you look at even research from people like Tesla, like he told you, like everything is energy, everything is frequencies. Like, so when you consume something, like when someone comes around you, you ever felt like, man, this guy gives me a bad vibe?
Yeah, of course.
Energy.
Yeah.
There might be some chemistry to that, but it's just energy.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, it got to a point, bro, where it's like I'm 4 years. I can't ever see myself going back. Not because I don't like sometimes smell a burger and I'm like, man, that smells fire, right? But I think to myself and I'm like, I know better.
Yeah.
It's like a cigarette smoker that quits. Yeah, when you smell a cigarette, like it's super tempting, but you're like, I know better. Like I know I shouldn't do it.
You do your research and you understand what it does to your body and how it's raised and whatever, and you just made the choice, the conscious choice to say, hey, this is not me anymore, and I feel better off it. So that's good, man.
Right.
Just wanted to kind of touch on that because I know you were big on it for like, I mean, I know a lot of it, or you were super big on IG for a while on it, pushing it. Just wanted to kind of figure out why you were into it. Okay. Yeah. For sure, man. And I guess you could touch on the last thing is the school, man. I know you said something about the school.
Yeah, I think the school goes the same thing as the diet and the lifestyle, and it goes into do your research, bro. I don't know about you, but I know people that have, invested, 100,000, 200,000 in their education, and then they get out and they're making 50K a year. What is that? Now, don't get me wrong. If you wanted to be a teacher, or if you wanted to be if you want to be a tennis coach,
there's specific things that you need. If you need to go to, like, people that go to school, majority of times they're going there, or they should be going there because they need that degree for that certain job that they're
right.
As long as you have that goal, okay, I need to be a lawyer, I need to be a
dentist,
teacher, then you have to, of course, go to the school that you get. Right. But if, again, some entrepreneurs go into this, like myself, like I went to school, I went to Delta, did 2 years, and then but I never actually graduated, got any type of degree there. Like I ended up dropping off because I started my business and it just started taking off. And then I got a bunch of other degree certifications. And I learned on the field, and I learned through other certifications. And I did my research, and I do a lot of studying, especially when you care about something, you learn as you go, and you learn.
And you enjoy learning it, right?
So, so that's just like I said. Sometimes, like I said, some people go and get degrees and they think they're worth more than, and it's like reality. It's like, to be honest, you probably
reality
make more
check
money.
Though when you get out,
you probably make more money. Sometimes not even going to the school for that. Again, it just I'm not saying school is bad or good. Like I think that's what you're trying to touch. It's just you understand why you're going to school, why you're not.
Exactly. The biggest thing for me is don't have that sheep mentality, right? Mm-hmm. Like I know for my family, their biggest accomplishment was to be able to tell somebody else, my kid graduated from this university. And what's crazy is that when I graduated from high school, I got accepted to 7 universities. So I've never been an idiot. I've never been a dumbass. I just have made decisions that weren't the best decisions. Like I had my first child at 19. I also point that because you can go through stages that are rough, but doesn't mean to have to tell what your outcome is. Like when I had my child at 19, there were so many people that were like he's going to become a nobody now. He's going to fail. And to me, it just sparked like that ambition to want to be someone. So all of these things that I say, and I'm so happy and grateful that we can document this, is because there might be someone right now, whether it's a woman or a soon-to-be father that can be 19 years old thinking that the world's going to end for him, or a girl that's pregnant right now thinking like, man, like everything's going to be so difficult. Like you just got to own it. Yeah. You just got to, sometimes you just got to stop listening to what people's outcomes. Like when people give you advice, the reality is that they're giving you advice from what their limitations are, right? So like if you told someone you were going to start a podcast, someone might tell you like, why are you going to start when no one listens to that? Yeah. Or they're like, why are you going to start when there's already a bunch of them? Or they might say, fuck, you want to be Joe Rogan? Like who the fuck, Yeah. Not to mention Joe Rogan just signed that $100 million deal for a podcast. Yeah. Right? So you already started yours. So it's like you've seen something. You're like, this is a way for me to be able to network, express myself, like be able to touch millions of people, because you're just starting off, and I see this going far, just like you were able to grow your membership with your gym, and get all these people you're able to impact. Like, you wouldn't have been able to do that if you listened to every single person that gave you advice.
Of course, because it's like you're going to hear advice from people, like you said, to their limitations, but it's like they don't see what you see.
Exactly.
And you're never going to, if it's not tangible, people aren't going to understand.
Right.
It's like, it's intangible. Oh, yeah, those are your dreams, whatever. But you already have it set. And as long as you have a goal, a plan set up, you're going to succeed, man. And it's like I said, it's not going to be easy, but you're going to keep pushing. You know yourself. You know yourself best. So, again, I guess that kind of touches on the school thing. If you need it, if you don't need it, I mean, still go if you feel like you need to go. But in reality, if there's something entrepreneurship style that you're going to do, if you don't really need it and you feel like it's not necessary, you're going to be more in debt, then take the other route. There's other certifications and things that you can learn on the way. Weigh your options and figure out what's right for you.
What's right.
It's not like you have to do it, because I didn't go and get a degree in I didn't go to university and get a degree on that. Even though I knew I wasn't an idiot either. I wasn't an idiot either. I got good grades and stuff like that too. And I know I could have done good, but in reality it was like I got a calling, which was fitness, and it just started taking off. And I was like, if I don't do it now and take advantage of this, I might not, it might not work out later. So I took advantage of it especially when this whole small boutique style gym, I would say like CrossFit style gym started taking off. And it was just barely low. So I said, screw it, I'm going to take my chances. And it just blew up. And if I would have tried to start the way I started now, I think it would be way harder. But see, now I overcame that. And now I'm at this position where I'm established, and now it's like everybody might be trying to start, and it's kind of hard for them now.
Exactly.
So I did the right thing. And hey, I'm blessed with it.
You followed your intuition. You followed your dream. And I think it's another thing too that I want to tell people is that sometimes people have the best intentions for you. Like, they really do. Like, when, for example, like sometimes our own parents, right? They're like, they have the best intentions. Like, you're their kid. But sometimes, like, again, they're limited to what they accomplished, what they've seen, like, and they honestly, sometimes they don't believe it. They don't believe in it until they see it come to life. And then they're like, damn, like, they almost feel guilty because they're like, I almost stopped you from doing it, And that's another big thing too, is that sometimes people that you really love, sometimes it could be your significant other, they're not going to believe in what you want to accomplish. But if it moves you, if it's your intuition, like, you got to go for it, because at the end of the day, sometimes, like, we're with the wrong people. And I realized that even me, just like with the music and with like my career before, like, some people weren't supportive of it. They didn't understand it. They don't, like, if you want to be a hustler, you got to get with the hustler, and at the same time, you have to get with someone that is understanding, and you have to be understanding that you also need relationship time. You also need family time. Like, you need you time. Like, sometimes your wife might say, you know what, like, I need a couple days for myself. And you can't see that as selfish or as like, there's something wrong with me. Like, no, it's like, go ahead and do your thing. Like, when you said, like, your wife edits this, like, now you're both part of something. And that makes it a team effort instead of, sometimes women might say, well, you're always out there doing your podcast. Like, you're hours away from home. Like, but then, like, they get to see the product, work with you on the product. And it's like, really, like, me, like, when I find that person is like, has to be a hustler, has to understand that there's more things important than just like the materialistic and the what you see every single day. Like, everything is cool. Like, I don't need a Lambo, but I want one.
Of course.
Like, I don't want a mansion, but I want, like, I don't need it, but I want one.
It's exactly the mindset, bro. It's like, there's no need for those things, but in reality, it's like, I want that. I want that. I want that car. I want that bag. I want that. That lifestyle, because I can create it myself. There's no need for it, and I can keep my mindset into that. There's no need for it. But then it's like, why? I'm gonna live a good life. You know what I'm saying? I want to live that lifestyle. Like, I want to have that income, and I'm gonna make more revenue streams, and I'm gonna do it because I've known I can do it with something. I've done it. I'm gonna continue doing it. And again, it's what you manifest and work for it and keep pushing it.
Big time.
And hey, you like I said, we gonna have to come back into another podcast and maybe at some point, and we're gonna be driving Lambos or something. You know what I'm saying?
Be able to show that clip
like,
in the beginning.
Hey man, remember we talked about this?
Yeah,
and,
man, you're bringing it to life. So the biggest thing too is that I always tell people is that, and this is, doesn't matter what religion you believe in, or it doesn't even matter if you believe in religion or not, if you believe it's just science. But I think if God or the universe or the most divine put something into your brain, it's because it was meant for you. Because just like you want a Lambo, and some people are like, I don't want a Lambo. I just want to have a Kia. Nothing wrong with having a Kia. That's what he wants or she wants. But if God put it in your head and didn't put it in that person's head, it's because it was meant for you and not meant for that person, because we're all different. Yep. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, where it's like, don't talk big dreams with small-minded people. Yeah. And I've learned that, and I've really, and this is, again, I'll repeat that. Do not give your big dreams to small-minded people, because they are going to bring you down.
And you're going to get motivated, and you're going to rethink it.
Exactly.
And then now you're going to have doubts, and it's going to be difficult for you to stay positive. So you just got to
back off. You know what? And sometimes you got to say, what I've learned is that there are certain people that are for specific occasions. Like, there are certain people that you might say, you know what, I can work out with them and I get motivated. He's a beast. Like, motivates me, drives me. But if I take that person out to eat, he makes me look like a fool because he doesn't know how to be professional. Like, he's rude, blah, blah, blah. And there's other people where you're like, dude doesn't like to work out at all, but I can have a fire conversation with them about marriage or about being a man or, you know, about fatherhood.
All these people are molding you and helping you become a better person. And you're taking the positive from everybody instead of being, okay, this person has positive, I'm going to use this as positivity for me, and then I'm not going to do this because it's not worth it on this side. Yeah.
And it's not that person's strengths, right? Or sometimes it's about also being honest and having that awkward conversation with yourself, bro, and saying, you know what? I don't bring nothing to this table. I got to step off because I'm just taking space.
Yeah, like I've had people like offer me like money to open more gyms, or like money just in general, like, hey, I want to do a business, let's do a business together. And I'm like, and then they tell me that they want to do like, maybe like, for example, someone wants to do a bar, I have a sports bar mentality. I'm like, that's dope, but what can I bring to the table? Right. I don't have $100K to give you right now. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I would not give you $100K to do a sports bar because that's something that I wouldn't.
It doesn't move me.
It doesn't move me. Right. But he's like, I would love, you know, and it's like, I would love to, but it's like, if I can't bring to the table, why the hell am I going to lie to myself and say, yeah, let's do it, and then get myself in a dilemma that's unnecessary? Like, it sounds great.
Pick and choose your battles, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, good.
Some battles aren't. Some battles. Yeah. If you told me, I don't know, man. If you told me to open up a nail shop, and I know it makes bank, if it doesn't move me, I mean, I've gotten people that told me, like, you know, let's open up a restaurant. If it's not going to be a vegan restaurant, a plant-based restaurant, like, I can't do it. It goes against my morals.
It's got to be different. It's got to stand out, obviously, and it's got to go against what you believe in. Right. And again, that's what's going to allow you to stay motivated and pushing, you know, something that you believe in. So, again, man, let's wrap this up. We've been at it for like an hour and 22 minutes. I know it went by fast.
It does.
Again, shout out to David King for coming by and talking mindset. I would say mindset with me. Yeah. You know, with his fans out there going to listen to this, and to the people that follow me, and they're going to listen to this. Hopefully, you guys get some good out of it, some motivation. And then also, you know, follow him for his music. He's got some good stuff, some good Spanish stuff. Again, his EP's dropping soon in you know, July possibly.
Possibly July.
I know you got a music video coming out, and you got some, you know, new hit song
coming back to back.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm excited. Yeah. How can people find you, David, on social media?
On social media. Yeah. So, I use my platform. Usually my Instagram is the one I use the most. So you can follow me at official David King on Instagram. And then I put my tweets on there as well. So then you could just link that to my Twitter account. And then also on YouTube, you know, and I also have that link on my Instagram. So really the best place to find me is on Instagram at officialdavidking.com. And yeah, dude, I guess to wrap it up, this is a conversation that I have with like everyone that I surround myself with. And I think is a good way to end it. And I want to say, in 5 years, where do you see yourself taking this? Or where do you see yourself being in 5 years?
In 5 years, okay?
Yep.
So, obviously, I see this podcast being connected with a lot of big influencers.
Yep.
This is kind of why I did it. I feel like this podcast is going to be something that's going to help me market everything that I produce. Yeah. So, whether I make this, I make that, I make coffee, I make gyms, I make programs, it's gonna plug me into those bigger audiences, because these influencers are going to be able to come to me and have fire conversations and express themselves out to their people. Yeah. When in reality, a lot of times, you know, things like Instagram and things like, they can't sit there and conversate for hours, talking about themselves. So I think that this is going to connect me and network me as we go in time. Obviously, this quarantine kind of slowed down the connections because I can't go places like where I was going, you know. But it's still in the works, and it's still going.
We're still able to have this conversation.
Yeah. So I've had there's like a snowball effect going. I feel like ever since from day one when I started to now, it's grown. The audience has grown. And I'm like just super excited to see where we're at from there. So obviously I got another company that I'm starting. I'm obviously starting so I'll say it, I've been starting a coffee company.
Nice.
So it's not a coffee shop. It's just I have my own coffee bean.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed coffee, love coffee. It's just something that just excites me and moves me, like you said.
Yeah.
And when I travel, I love to enjoy, try when I
different coffees and stuff.
You try them and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I just felt like I had to do it. I wanted to create my own bean.
Yeah.
And just create my own swagger with it.
Nice.
And I have an online store, and I'll have it here too. I'll sell it from here.
Yeah.
And that should be coming out soon. Hopefully, I already have everything ready to go. I'm just waiting until quarantine's over, so at least I can open my gym up.
Right.
And then I can start kind of pushing it out to the people here and pushing it out to other influencers and trying to get people to support it. And it's good coffee. It's really good.
I gotta try it.
I got you. I'm gonna send you a little care package.
Yeah, for sure.
And then obviously, it's a southern South American blend and things like that. So it's legit. It's good.
Yeah.
All it is just marketing. So that's where I see myself. And obviously the gyms continue growing. I'm remodeling it right now.
Yeah.
And
let's put it in the air though, right? You gonna get that Lambo in 5 years? What's up?
You know what, dude? I don't know
Let's
if I want
in the air.
I
what do you want?
I like Lambos, but I do like a
G-Wagon or something. What?
I'm gonna get my girl G-Wagon. She's been wanting one.
Yeah, all girls want G-Wagons.
And they're dope. But I really enjoy the BMW i8s, bro. I don't know why.
Those are hard.
I like
those
the i8s
because with the doors.
The one they shot my boy X in.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah.
But those are clean, man. I don't know why they're just different.
It's like a spaceship. Yeah, those are cool. Real nice.
So, but I don't know. I still want to see some other things. And definitely
when you get more money, you see more things. Yeah, some cars that you might have never thought, right?
Bugattis and shit.
Bugattis, McLarens, all those,
So yeah, man, that's definitely my dream car right now is a BMW i8. My girl wants a G-Wagon. Those are the two things. And then from there, like I said, I can see myself in 5 years having one of those.
Yeah. Living where? Where do you see where's your dream place to live at?
Bro, I love to travel, so it doesn't really matter where I would live at.
Have you found that? Have you found that home? Like,
you know what? I wouldn't want to buy a house here in town.
Yeah.
I've literally thought about moving down to Irvine by the beach area, like because it's
more Southern California
just
vibes.
A lot of more connections, more Southern California vibes, a lot of places to eat, more diversity. I
love
enjoy
it.
that.
I love it.
People don't really know you like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like living in a small town is kind of. Everybody knows.
I'm not a small town guy.
Yeah, me neither, bro. I feel like people know you can't even take a bike ride. They're like, oh, look, there
he goes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to take my kids out and just give them an open mind. So to me, it's not a big deal where I live because I enjoy traveling. I probably travel every couple months. But again,
best thing you can do, in my opinion.
My goal is to probably move down to like Southern California, maybe next year. Just test it out.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I don't like it, I come back.
That's the biggest thing.
That's
bro.
why I haven't bought a house yet.
Yeah, and you touch on something real important that you can always most of the time go back and restart. Obviously there's some things in life you can't replace. You can't replace good friends, you can't replace somebody's life, you can't replace certain lessons that life only gives you once. But if you go move somewhere, you get your U-Haul truck and you bring your stuff back and you're like, fuck it didn't work. Oh well. I'll try another spot now.
And the thing for me is like I have my gym and I'm gonna keep my gym. It's not just going nowhere. I just need someone to establish. I need someone legit to help me run it. Yeah. So I'm gonna be looking for that. Some good front desk people, things like that.
Right.
But everything else runs itself. Like I got good coaches and everything like that. My business is legit.
Nice.
And then obviously I think having my coffee business, I think being able to market it out there, push it around, I think will help a lot more. And then maybe eventually, like, I would eventually like to go to, like, these coffee farms and just, you know how you go out to, like, South America and just try different beans and like, get a little more in depth with it.
Mixtures and stuff.
So, and then also I just opened my Shopify store for my my clothing brand for my gym. So I just slowly starting it, but I've always wanted to have my own clothing company.
Yeah.
With things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But I was like, it started with my gym and just, like, slowly kind of branch it to see how it grows and add more apparel through the seasons and then just see how it grows, man, because I know a lot of people mess with my stuff. But I want to be able to get a place to where they can always buy it and I can just ship it to them. So I'm super excited for that. So 5 years, man, I see great things happening. So what about you, man?
Man, I think we have similar mindsets. So I definitely want to start my own clothing brand. And I've always been real big on design and art. Like I'm just like I feel like I'm just an artist at heart.
It comes with creativity, man. It comes with creativity. You want to create things and add things because, but at the end of the day, once you become something, once you create the fan base, anything that you make that you believe in, they're going to support.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I'm going going towards.
Exactly. So, I mean, like I said, like I'm an artist at heart. Like, for example, I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to design clothes. What I want to build and what I'm going to build in 5 years from now is that I want to be able to have a clothing brand that like a percentage of it goes to like organizations that I believe in, whether that is for, the helping the environment, or it's like helping a specific group that is in need. Like, I really want to be able to impact, and when people buy something, they know it's going for like a good cause. So I definitely want to do that. I want to be able to, even have like paintings that I auction and stuff like that, and the money will go to organizations. I definitely like this music thing, God willing, this takes off. And, I love being an artist. I love being in the studio. I love writing. I would love to be able to work with different artists and give them the opportunity, to be able to do the things that, I'm able to accomplish and provide that. Just I really, really follow a lot of like Nipsey Hussle's guidelines, bro.
Yeah.
Like, be able to go give opportunities to the people in need. And, whether it's you put a recording studio in, a low income area and you provide an opportunity for people to express themselves, I definitely want to be able to establish that. I also, by traveling, I've realized that there's countries where there's a lot of potential for you to build just like tourist attractions. So I want to build like a retreat in Medellin where people can go and they can get challenged to be, try a plant-based diet for a week.
That's cool.
And that way they get to experience new culture, fresh food. This is one thing, and I'm pretty sure you've experienced this as you traveled. It's like when you travel outside the country and you taste food and it tastes so much fresher and richer, and then you come back and you're like, what is this garbage that we're eating?
Yeah.
So I want to give people that experience. And honestly, bro, I just want to impact the world. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to do like a Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know before I die, bro, and hopefully, I may want to have a couple years. This one thing, and I guess we'll put it on this recording. Like, I have never seen myself as dying old, bro. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I don't picture that. I don't know about you. Like, I don't picture grandchildren. And it's weird because people are like, oh, well, you're putting that into the air. Like, I believe everything's already in design. And I've always been the type of person where like, I'm a rebel and like, I'm like a revolutionary thinker. And I'm like, when you speak truth, bro, you don't make a lot of fans and you make a lot of enemies. So with that comes that responsibility. Right. So, that's why like I follow a lot of what like Nipsey Hussle did, and those are some real big shoes to fill. But I appreciate what he did and the legacy he left behind. And if I can taste a little bit of that legacy and leave something like that behind, like I'm set. I want my kids to be able to see like he did exactly what he wanted, said exactly what he wanted, and he impacted a bunch of people. Like I think that's the biggest legacy you can leave to your kids.
Yeah, for sure, man. Totally legit.
Touch a couple million too, bro. That's it. Just a couple mil. Just a couple. If I, 100 mil at least, billboards.
Hey, why not, bro?
Forbes.
I think you're on your way, man. You just got you got the right mindset, and I mean it's legit. So again, David, thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate
it, bro. I appreciate it.
We shouldn't be touching, but it's all good.
It's
all good.
Yeah,
we good.
Social distancing. That's distancing.
It's all good.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're healthy. We're good.
We're good. We're strong young bulls. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Project Savage. We out.